Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
The most important step to achieving a dream is the next one. How to eat an elephant. I'm not sure what elephants taste like or why you'd ever want to eat one, but the answer, of course, is one bite at a time. Mustard is optional, but a little enthusiasm never hurts. Now, the same instructions apply when it comes to accomplishing a big dream. One bite at a time. Tinkering embodies the spirit perfectly. Tinkering implies baby steps, not grand gestures. Little of this, little of that. I've accomplished some of my biggest dreams in the past few years. And they were all accomplished with a healthy dose of tinkering, taking one baby step at a time. The first step was just deciding to go for it. The next step was to draw one comic strip. The next step was to share it online. And the next step was to draw another one. Like I said, baby steps. I ended up drawing thousands of comic strips, but not all at once. And even though the comic strip has been retired for well over a decade, the audience I grew and the lessons I learned were instrumental in getting me to where I am now. Now, people nod when I tell them to start with the first step because it makes sense. And sometimes laugh when I tell them the first step might be something drop dead simple, like just deciding, or reading a book, or asking someone for advice, or drawing one comic strip. But then they can't help themselves. They mentally forecast the second step, then the third, and maybe make it all the way to step 17 before they get stuck or encounter a fake no. In their head, step 17 is extremely difficult or impossible or even more terrifying, completely unknown. That's when the dream hits a roadblock and more often than that, dies. Do you have a dream in your heart? Don't murder it just because you don't know how you'll ever overcome step 17. Right now, step 17 might seem hazy. Not to worry. It'll become abundantly clear right after you take step 16. Step 17 may seem insurmountable. Cool. You might be surprised how the growth you experience in the first 16 steps magically transforms it into a molehill. And don't be surprised if step 17 looks quite a bit different than you imagined today, or is rendered altogether irrelevant after step 12 prompts you to take an unexpected turn. Like the day I felt called to retire my comic strip. Repeat after me. I don't have to know step 17 before I take step number 1. Start with step number 1, and for the love of penguins, don't combine 6 steps into 1 step. Just start with lowly, insignificant step number 1. Yes, it might be obvious. So simple a child could do it. Too small to make any noticeable difference. Step number 1 will most definitely be all of these things, but only one question matters. Have you done it? No? Then quit worrying about step 17 and effing do step number 1. My apologies for the candor, but your dream matters to me, and this fires me up. These elephants don't eat themselves.